Welcome back to the Steady Show. So it's time to do another Kevin Samuels reaction video. Now, on the show last night, Only These Women Deserve High Value Men. I must confess, when I saw the title, I said I must see the show because I want to see the girls that will be on the show. Well, we know how differently that turned out. But for me, for me, BB saved that show. So coming right after that call from the Jamaican young lady who called in twice, and we know how that turned out, BB came in as a breath of fresh air. I noticed her from she was in the waiting room. And, she had a pleasant, she comes in, Kevin, how are you? I am well. How are you? And I thought that one came over very well. Kevin immediately commented on her beautiful smile. So she really had a good first impression. And this is a good place to stop to say sometimes, it's not so much the words that comes out of someone's mouth, especially when it's a woman, that it just turns you off. Sometimes it's just the attitude. Well, BB had the right attitude, and from the comments that were in the chat box, I am sure I'm not the only one who felt that way. But her contribution was that women have been taught that a man should love them more, and that women learn one thing from their moms and differently from others. Kevin's reaction was, or his response was, that if a man loves you more, he's going to want to spend time around you. She had an attentive look on her face, definitely showing that she was listening to what he was saying without the interruptions, which we have come to know too well from many of these callers. Right? Now, when she made the point, he used the analogy of the impact on the king when the queen dies, pretty much to illustrate the fact that for a man, his priority really has to be his purpose. I like that school of thought. Because I'm from a school of thought which says that, God gave man work before he gave him a woman. Reference the story of Adam and Eve in the Bible. He mentions the airplane situation, right? That in a matter of an emergency, it's necessary to put on your oxygen mask first, even before your children. He mentioned the fact that, women are designed to go from one man to the next, such as when one kingdom conquers the other. We've seen that in the Bible in the story of David as well. On a side note, notice that women are never afraid of losing the man once she has a child or children. They have a way of living vicariously through children because women are attached to children like that. And they are their priority, such as Kevin mentioned. He used these and other examples to make the point that a man is to care about a woman, but not to the point where he forgets or deprioritizes everything. I must make the point that men raised by women, they miss the opportunity to learn the order of priority when it comes to women and their life mission and calling. It was on replay that I noticed he spoke about Samson telling his secret to Delilah and his charge suffering as a result of that. So in summary, he says that the black community is down because essentially the man is beneath the woman. And it is clear that that is a fact from what we're seeing in the black community. It's as though the men in other cultures are enough for their women, but for many black women, it's a matter of divesting or looking at other men whom they desire to be their leaders and the fathers of their children. I saw a tape with Jessica X yesterday. I believe it has something to do with This Is Whom They Choose. And we saw where there were black women picking up dusty white men as well. So I thought that was very funny, so I had to insert that one right there. You know, but I like when he asked about the woman being with a clingy man, and he asked this of BB. He asked her if she's ever been with a man who was very clingy versus a man that was masculine, right? And who put some distance between her and himself. Of course, she spoke about the fact that she has experienced both, and the fact that it is the one who was more masculine and who put more distance that she cared more about. She really spoke of the fact that, you know, women have a way of just sabotaging the men when they come home, and oftentimes the man comes home to an argument, which is of course reflective of insecurity on the woman's part, because the woman really does not view her man as the provider who goes out, as the hunter who goes out and basically brings home whatever it is to provide for his family. He made the point that the black community is essentially organized against itself, and he concluded that black men ought to be competing with other men, and that the woman really essentially ought to be playing her part in support. He thanked her for the respectful back and forth in the conversation that was had between them, and that conversation ended very well. So, you know, in addition to that, notice that she was on the heavier side, right? So from the standpoint of the need to lose weight and so on, no one will argue that that's necessary. But from the standpoint of being feminine and having a good attitude and having a conversation, being able to listen without interruptions, and being able to, you know, look at the things she's being told and to just reflect on that in light of what she's now hearing by watching these shows on YouTube. She's now able to conclude that, you know, or see now for herself, that she's now able to see for herself that many women do have a wrong mindset as it relates to men. So, you know, I just want to say kudos to BB. Keep that pleasant and wonderful attitude. Sometimes we can learn more from somebody who's able to demonstrate the attributes that we value than someone who fails to do so. So with that in mind, I thought I might have said something about this call, because I truly enjoyed the time that she spent on the phone, and Kevin did as well as those who were in that chat. So big ups to BB. This is The Steady Show. I'd love to hear your feedback on this conversation. If you like the content, please go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. Let me thank you for your time, and do have a good evening.